Well, we've got 17-year-old Joel, who won the Shining Star Award at the first ever OnSide Awards, nominated by youth centres. And these young people have won awards for making a difference in their community, having a breakthrough talent, or overcoming, as we always see, challenging circumstances. So Joel is here, who won the Shining Star Award and has transformed his life through the Inspire Youth Zone in Chorley. And what we're really trying to do as well today is to highlight the importance of youth centres, what difference they make in communities, because they have been under attack in the last 10 years. Now, that's not a political statement. That's just a statement of fact. So people need places to go. Young people do. Well, 20-year-old Cindy is with us, who won the Sport Award. Now, she came to Bolton from Cameroon 8 years ago when she was 12 and couldn't even skip when she began boxing at Bolton Lads and Girls Club, something that I've tried. I just fell over every time I tried to skip, so I rate you highly just for being able to skip, Cindy. But with their help, she's become an England under-21 champion. We also have 17-year-old Fatima. Hi, Fatima is one of the Strong Sisters. It's this group put together from the Blackburn Youth Zone and their local history project, championing inspiring local women, won the OnSide Health and Wellbeing Award. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Such a warm welcome to Five Live. Thank you for coming in. Joel, just tell me about your relationship with school. A smile comes on your face right there, because it's been a difficult relationship with school, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a relationship that weren't there, really.
Right, okay. And when did that start to fall apart?
I never really got on with school, like, even from, like, year 2 or something. And then, like, in year 8, I just fell out of it completely.
Right, okay. And I mean, how lonely did that feel? Because there'd be a lot of people that would be going to school, right? Your mates.
Yeah.
And you were there on your own.
Yeah, I kind of just lost touch with all my mates, really, when I left. So, like, probably didn't cross my mind at the time as me being lonely. I just, like, didn't really think of anything.
What was it, Joel, about school?
Just, I suppose, the teachers, really, because I got on with all my friends and stuff and just didn't get along with, like, the teaching environment.
Was it being told what to do, or was it that you found the lessons not relevant to you? What was it?
I think it's more like the relevancy of, like, the lessons at the time that I just kind of I'd do my work every lesson, but then just get disinterested, like, once I'd finished.
And, I mean, you know the phrase waste man, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you were becoming a waste man?
Probably a bit, yeah.
Okay. Because you were playing a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But what about your attitude towards the importance of education?
I suppose it's, like, I wouldn't say it's changed. I'd probably, if I could go back and stay in school now, I would, because, like, I wouldn't have, like, it's hard to explain. Like, I'm happy that I did stop going and I've came out, like, the other side. But if somebody was in, like, my shoes, I'd tell them to stay in school still.
So how did you get involved in the youth club then? Youth centre?
I just heard it were opening, so then I went down and then for the opening day, and I didn't actually start going straight after that. I just kind of went for that day and then didn't go for a few months. But a few of my mates, like, started playing football there for a bit, so I went and just started going for a kickabout, just get me out of the house doing something.
Do you think you lacked confidence?
Yeah, I suppose, because, like, I could never used to, like, speak to just randomers or, like, even, like, just look them in the eye or anything, like. But that's, like, changed now. Like,
you're looking me straight in the eye when we're talking. That's amazing. Yeah. So you couldn't do that. So what helped you be able to do that, Joel?
I don't know. It's just kind of like growing up and maturing, being around people all the time, and just slowly, like, growing the skills to do it.
So football was something that joined you with other people, was it?
Yeah, like, I've always been a, like, football, like, fan. Like, up until I was about 10 or 11, I played football constantly, and then when I stopped going to school, like, I just stopped playing football. And, like,
did you feel as though your life was kind of spiraling downwards at any point?
Yeah, like up until a year and a half ago, I had no idea what like I was gonna do, like job wise and stuff. But
So how has the youth centre helped with that?
well, wasn't really like a job opportunity at the time. They offered like if I wanted to go on this ski course and learn how to ski. And
Any of your mates ski? Been on skiing holidays?
no, not that I know of.
No.
No.
No. Bit like my mates when we were growing up, actually, yeah. So that's quite an unusual thing to go into, right?
Yeah.
So why skiing?
I'm not sure really. Like well, to be honest, didn't say ski opportunity. Like, well, Ryan said like when he offered it to me, do you want to go France for free? So obviously I was like, no. Yeah.
Okay.
But then when I turned up, like it was to like snow camp. It was like just a course learning how to ski with like other young people my age, and then after that I got offered to go back to the course after that, and then on that course you obviously advance your skiing skills, but you also learn how to instruct skiing and do different qualifications like first aid, safeguarding, and then you come out the other side with a Snow Sports England qualification.
It's kind of mad, isn't it? If I went to the 12-year-old Joel and went, when you're 17, you're going to be a ski instructor, you would have looked at me like I was a freak.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Probably.
It's not the normal thing for a lad from Chorley to get involved in, I guess.
No.
So what was it about the youth centre? Tell me more about the Inspire Youth Zone in Chorley then, what it does.
It just like gives people something to do, because there's up until like Inspire opened, there was nothing to do, like just sitting about on parks and stuff. But now, since Inspire, the whole like area's just started doing more and developing. It's like hard to explain really, but
Yeah, it's just giving people a focus, I guess.
yeah.
So look, clearly, as a teenager, you've got a lot of energy, right? Now, if that energy doesn't find something positive to do, where does it end up?
Well, if I don't have anything to do, I kind of just shut off and like mop about saying I'm bored.
Right. Do you see people around you who don't go, of your age group, and if they're bored, where does that lead?
Well, a lot of my like still consider them like my mates. Like they don't go because like they end up just doing like all sorts of stuff, just mischievous. Like I suppose it shouldn't really be typical, but typical like 16 to 18-year-old stuff. Like
hanging out on street corners and getting up to no good.
Yeah.
Mischievous is the word. But let's be real about it. Sometimes criminal as well, right?
Yeah, like quite a lot of the stuff's like a bit dodgy.
Right. And how do you think the Inspire Youth Zone in Chorley has helped you to avoid that kind of lifestyle?
Just like giving me somewhere to just go and like get out the way of it, basically. Like cut off from them.
Is it easy to avoid that kind of life?
I suppose it depends, like, on the person. 'Cause, like, some people could be easily convinced, like, that that's what you should be doing, but then other people might just like put the foot down and say no, like that ain't happening.
Well, that's the Inspire Youth Zone in Chorley, and Joel, and we'll speak to you some more. Don't worry about that, Joel. Cindy is with us, who came from Cameroon to Bolton when you were just 12 years old.
Yeah, when I was just 12 years old.
What do you remember of that, of leaving Cameroon? And because it was only 8 years ago.
I came here with my uncle and my brother. I remember getting on the plane, and my uncle told us that we were coming to go and see our father. I've not seen him ever since I was born, really. But obviously, my uncle told me about my father. I've heard about him, and my uncle would speak to him time to time. So when we came here in the UK, I remember getting off the taxi with my uncle, and we got in front of a house, and my uncle knocked on the door, and the person that opened the door was like a giant man, 6'5", and then my uncle just told me, "That's your father," and he did look like me, so I just thought, okay, he looks exactly like me, so he's directly my father. And then obviously without him knowing, he was even shocked that we came to the UK, because I think
So he didn't know you were coming?
No, he did not know that we were coming. My uncle just Well, see, I think my uncle was having problem with the government because he worked in the government, so he was having a bit of trouble with the government. So he just thought that it was best for us to come to bring us to our father. I think he didn't want us to have any. He didn't want us to. He wanted us to be safe in a way. So he brought us to our father. Without my father knowing that we were here, he was in shock. So obviously he's my father. He has to take. He's our father. He has to take me and my brother, and he just took us. And I just went in. I didn't look what my uncles and my father was talking about, because I was just shocked. I was in the new house, in new environment, and there was my sibling. I have 10 siblings, so there was loads of siblings in the house. So I was like, okay. So,
Wow.
and I just walked in, and then I didn't see what my father and uncle were doing, and my father closed the door. So I think my uncle just directly just went back without us. But I didn't ask about him.
So you're a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I'm a 12.
You come straight to the UK from
Yeah.
Cameroon. You meet your father for the first time, who has no idea you're turning up.
He had no idea.
So what did he say to you?
I think as a father, you don't want to worry your child, do you? You don't really want to worry them. Where did you come from? What happened? Because I was still a child, so he just decided that, go and stay with your sibling. Go and bring your stuff upstairs, and these are your sibling. And I just thought, these are my sibling. My father told me these are my sibling. So I just have to meet my sibling, speak to my sibling. And after, I didn't really ask anything until I was 16 years old, and I finished school, and I was going to college. And then obviously when you go to college, as a child, you're thinking, after college, I'm going uni. I want to go after uni. I want to do this. I want to get a good job. I want to get a good life, which you need papers for it. So after I asked my father, do you have my passport? He told me that we don't have you don't have a passport, you're an immigrant. And in my head I was like, because I came in this country when I was 12 years old, and I've spent 4 years getting used to the England lifestyle, really going to school, coming back home, staying with my sibling, revising, going to school, just doing the same routine, finish school, and then
normal. And
then just normal thing until when I go to college, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought I had papers, because that wasn't really my worry. My worry was going to school, getting good grades, finishing school, going to college, finish college, go to uni. And then when I go to college, I understand that I don't have any paper, I don't have nothing, and the Home Office trying to send me back to the country where I didn't really think about that much. I didn't really think about. The only thing that I focused on was me being here with my family. And the only time I was able to speak to my mom on the phone was when I was 16 years old.
So your mother was in Cameroon?
She's in Paris.
She
was in Paris. Even when I was in Cameroon, she was in Paris.
This is very complicated.
It's hectic.
Very, very,
hectic.
Very complicated.
Yeah.
So then, where do you feel home, Cindy?
I feel home here. Came here when I was 12 years old, so 8 years now. So I don't know what's happening in Cameroon. I've not heard from no one in Cameroon. All my uncles and aunties, they're all in France. Some of my stepmom's side, they're in here in England, and some of my uncles are in America, and some are in Italy, and So when the only way I can get in contact with all of them is on the phone, really, FaceTime. I feel home here in the UK. I feel like a British citizen, basically.
So tell me about Bolton Lads and Girls Club then. Tell me about walking in there for the first time.
So after I finished school, that was in 2016, I started college. I was what I did, I think when I found out about my paper, I went through some really bad depression, anxiety, and I would just do is finish school and just go back home and just eat. So I was really overweight, just horribly overweight, and I wanted to. My goal at the end was, after finishing college, I wanted to be a police officer or firewoman. So I was really unfit, 110 kg. So I just thought I had to do something, but I didn't have that confidence within me. And my brother that I came here in the UK with, he always been like a father figure to me. He always take care of me, even though I had my father, but he always been like a father figure, because he knew me ever since we were a baby. So he knows me inside out. He told me that, okay, you're lazy, you need to get up and do something for yourself. So he gave me a leaflet at that time. Bolton Girls was giving leaflet out. and I saw a leaflet, and they had different type of activity in the club, and a place where a young person can just go and they feel welcome, and they feel like they can count all the people. And I went to the club, and went to the reception, and I asked the reception woman about the club, and she showed me the round everywhere, the different activities, the staff members, and she asked me what I was into. So I told her I'm into sport. I like sport things. So I told her at that time I wanted to do football. I was into football. So she showed me about the female football team. They did 2 sessions a week, and the club is open 3 times, and you only pay 50p. So I started doing football. But then every time I would go downstairs, the stairs, on the right side there was football session training, and on the left side it was the boxing.
Right.
And I saw boys all going on the boxing all the time with gloves and headgear. I would think, what is that? There's so many, because there was so many people on the boxing for the boxing session compared to the football.
Wow.
So one day I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go to football. I'm going to go to boxing. I walked in. There were so many boys, tall, small, juniors, some juniors, seniors, but everyone was sweating. Everyone was so... It was into...
But there were no other girls?
There was no girls, not at all.
Right.
So I felt really uncomfortable in a way, because I was the only girl. So, and there was boys that looked sweaty and all massive, and I looked so tiny, and I felt so shy. And I walked in, and my coach, there was 3 coaches. There was Nick Raymond, and there was Dave and Langon, and there was Andrew. And I walked in, and the coach asked me, "What's your name?" And I tell him my name, and he tell me, "Okay, go to Andrew," because when you, as a beginner, you go to Andrew, and he teach you the basic, the boxing stand, and how to throw the punch properly. And then just for skipping, it was 13 minutes skipping. 13
minutes of skipping?
No, 30.
30?
Skipping.
I couldn't even do 30 seconds.
So I think they make it that intense, that make it that the time that long. They want to see if you're fit enough or you can handle it.
So you clearly have a talent for it, because you won the English National Championship, don't you, in the 81 kg?
So I started boxing in 2016, and I took 2 years just to lose the weight down, and then get my basic skills on properly before I can go out there and compete.
Why do you box?
Why do I box?
Why do you box? Yeah.
Because I love it.
Yeah, it's that simple.
I love the
What
lifestyle.
do you love about it?
Boxing is the most hardest sport ever compared to every other sport. It teaches you about life, really. It teaches you about how to become an adult. It teaches you about how to be independent. It teaches you about the hardest part in life and how to deal with it. It teaches you about everything. Okay. Well, look.
Okay, it's 22 minutes to 2, and we are here to celebrate the work of youth zones, youth centres, celebrating winners of the first ever OnSide Awards, which are young individuals who have been nominated by their own youth zones, their own youth centres, and awards for making a difference in their community. And that's the thing, isn't it? You know, for every Greta Thunberg, there are thousands of young people up and down the country doing their bit. And you add all of that together, all of those little moments of inspiration that are giving back to their communities, and it helps change the world altogether. And that's why Cindy, Joel and Fatima are right here in front of me. Fatima goes to a faith girls' school, so has got to meet people from different backgrounds, haven't you, Fatima? So welcome to the show. Your award was the OnSide Health and Wellbeing Award. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Blackburn Youth Zone.
All right, so I think the first few weeks when I first went to Blackburn Youth Zone, I don't think I really knew what it was about. But at that time, they were actually recruiting for members of Strong Sisters. So I think we went there weekly, and it was just about learning about the women around us, taking inspiration from women around us, implementing skills that they have into our own lives, I guess to become stronger sisters as well. But yeah, it's Blackburn Youth Zone has definitely allowed us to not only gather together and meet people from different backgrounds, which, because I go to a faith school and a girls' school, it's not always available to me. So I guess it's really good for me to be able to, outside school, be able to meet other people from different cultures, religions, and just to be able to talk and connect in one way or another.
What's the most common question you have to answer? And I guess what's the most common question you have when you're meeting other people of different backgrounds?
I guess it would be probably when we do have the conversations, I think people, for me, they're more interested about, I guess, the only times I've really met people like from a wide variety of backgrounds is during exhibitions. So at that time I was doing Mendi, so henna.
Right.
So I guess
There's beautiful, intricate designs that you do on women's hands, usually before weddings, right?
Yeah, so I guess that really sparked some conversation between people. It's maybe like I guess they always ask like, how old you are. They're always surprised to hear that I'm 17. But yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, and then what was it been like for you? What have you learnt? Because coming out of the faith school that you go to, which is an all-girls school, and then meeting other people from different backgrounds, I take it boys and girls, right?
Yeah.
Meeting people with other backgrounds. What surprised you the most?
I think when you're in a faith school around only girls, it's quite similar, the things you hear. But to be able to go out there and hear people from different backgrounds, to be able to hear their stories or how life is going out for them. Because I think when you're in a faith school, you're in some sort of like a bubble. You're not really exposed to things on the outside. So it's really interesting to hear how the viewpoint other people have on their lives. Even if it's about news or what's going on around the world, it's really interesting to know about that as well.
Are people surprised that, wearing the niqab as you do, that there's a human being underneath it? Because people have just an image, don't they? They see the niqab and then they perhaps have their own stereotypical views of what that means.
Yeah.
Do you think you've kind of overcome or helped people overcome some of those stereotypes perhaps they had in their mind? Definitely.
I think one thing I've noticed is, especially when you're around women, I can take it off and, show my face. But as soon as I put it back on, it feels like there's a different atmosphere all of a sudden. But I feel like I've really been able to tackle that, especially with people in my group, because in my Strong Sisters group, we have people from like the white background. So for them especially, I think at the beginning, they probably seemed a bit uncomfortable around me, but I can't blame them for that. But then I think it kind of made it my mission to be able to break down the stereotype. So now we can just really walk around the streets with my friends, I guess, and they don't feel uncomfortable around me. We can really talk about whatever we want to talk about. I feel like it just takes time to be able to understand a person more than what you can see on the outside and appearance.
Yeah, that does take some time, indeed. So did they feel comfortable to ask you questions about?
I think initially, maybe, I don't think they did. Right at the beginning.
So did you have to make them feel comfortable about it?
Yeah. But actually, I think just last week, one of the girls in my group, she actually wanted to try one on. She said just for the feeling, just for the experience, she actually asked to try one on. It's pretty cool. I was quite surprised as well.
Yeah, I bet you were.
Yeah.
I bet you were. And then I guess to understand that you're a 17-year-old who does what a lot of 17-year-olds do, right? You just wear a niqab, which is for you yourself an article of your faith.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah. But do you feel as though you're accepted for that?
I think being in a faith school, I don't think I've ever had to worry about that.
No, not in school you wouldn't.
No.
But of course,
outside.
You have to live in the outside world. And of course, next year, are you planning to go to university?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So I think personally, it might take time for, I don't know, I don't think it's hard to accept it, because sometimes I think because I've had it on for about 2 or 3 years, I've kind of been used to the reactions and the response I've received. So no, I don't think it affects me as much as it probably used to at the beginning.
Do you feel nervous when you walk out into public?
I think sometimes I do, especially right at the beginning when I first started wearing it, because you automatically attract more attention almost of the person. That's how I felt like. But I think eventually you become a lot more comfortable with it. I think a lot of people, especially where I come from, is quite there's quite a lot of Asians, a lot of Muslim people.
Right.
So I think where I come from is quite accepted, it's quite normal. But when you're walking around, for example, Manchester or London, it does feel a bit different, but it just takes time to get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about campaigning so that famous women from Blackburn are recognised.
Yeah, so I think right at the beginning of the project, I think none of us knew about women in our own local community or from Lancashire even, that we didn't know about how famous they once were. For example, we'd learned about Kathleen Ferrier. She was a musician, She was I think she was a female musician from Lancashire. So it's all really interesting to know that these people, they were brought up around the same environment, and they've achieved so many things. So it's really important for us as young girls to be able to look at their lives and take the skills that they've got and implement it in our lives, so we can become independent and become women like them, I guess.
Is that what it is? I mean, does it help inspire you
Yeah, definitely.
yourselves?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in terms of the Blackburn Youth Zone that you go to,
Yeah.
and especially the Strong Sisters, what has been the most amazing part of it for you?
For me, I think probably doing the exhibitions. So during the exhibition, what we normally do is we just, over the past few months, what we've been learning, for example, might be women in our community, about mental health. Recently we learned about domestic violence. We had a visitor coming to talk to us about domestic violence. So what we normally do is we present all this information in exhibitions. So I think that's really, for me personally, it's allowed me to become more confident, improve my communication skills, but also it's like being able to present myself to the public more than I probably would when I'm walking around the streets, because then it's up to me to be able to transfer all the information that I learned to people in my community, to be able to empower them in some way or another. So yeah,
it's amazing just looking at the three of you what youth zones bring. I mean, you three couldn't be more different, right? In terms of background and cultural, heritage, but yet these youth zones connect you all. You're all connected.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So in that respect, when you look at your differences, that's fine. You can park those. But actually, you've probably got lots more in common than Joel than you would have immediately thought.
Yeah.
Because how would you come into contact with Cindy, a boxer who was born in Cameroon, Fatima and the Strong Sisters of Blackburn, and a skiing instructor from Chorley, Joel? It's quite out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is out there. Let's speak to Jamie Mastrov, who's Director of Operations for OnSide Youth Zones. Jamie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's inspiring, isn't it?
Oh, I can't tell you how amazing it is just to listen to Joel and Cindy and Fatima, and just the pride I get with hearing their stories and the part that youth zones have played in them. It's amazing.
So let us get a sense of what youth zones do then. Have they essentially replaced what has happened over the last 10 years or so of austerity? And so is this an alternative now to the youth clubs of old?
So I would say that youth zones are very much part of the picture, but can never replace. I mean, what we have right now is, we're all aware of the fact that young people, the focus is hugely on education, what happens within schools. But 85% of young people's waking hours are spent outside of schools. And sadly, for so many of them up and down the country, there really is nowhere to go and nothing to do and no one to talk to. And it is really hard to expect young people to feel that they matter, to feel that they are important, when there's just very little for them to do. And sadly, the last 10 years, we have seen a huge decline in some of the youth clubs that did exist. Many youth workers have sadly had to leave the profession. And that's led to a big gap in what happens outside of school. And we can see the impact of that all around us. It's one of these youth clubs, youth services. It's one of those, you see the impact when they're gone, and you see it in mental health. You see it in youth-related crime and antisocial behaviour. You see it in physical health. But also you see it in all Joel, Cindy and Fatima all mention it, this key word, confidence. Confidence. So they've all had the benefit of having a club, or in our case, their youth zones, that have found their spark, and they've nurtured it, and they've helped them to find their own path to grow that spark. And if that's that's really what we within our youth zones look to do. We're now across the country. We're a network of 13 like-minded charities that are bringing local councils, businesses, philanthropists and young people together, all trying to match young people's potential with the quality of the facilities in the offer.
We've got 3 examples of a win right in front of me here. Okay. how do you measure success then as Director of Operations for OnSide Youth Zones?
It's a great question. I mean, first of all, it's just about the reach. So our ambition is really to create a network in all areas of the country, in towns across the country, wherever the need is big enough and wherever the population is big enough, so that young people have access to facilities like youth zones. So that's the first thing. So really, the win for us is long term. It's to make sure, we're at 13 youth charities, youth zones now. We want to have at least 100 of those in the country. But then looking at the young people themselves, I mentioned confidence. For us, what we see within youth zones is we see young people coming out, going to youth zones, and they come back with an increased confidence. So over 89% of our members, we have 50,000 young people signed up as members across our youth zones. 89% say they have more self-confidence. 86% say they feel happier. And 80% report getting the higher marks in school. So we want to see that impact. Measure of success for us is young people going, engaging in youth zones, are doing better and getting on better with their families. But also what we want to see is we want to see the whole community own that youth zone. We want to see the community around it get a lift. These are in some of the areas of the country that really need that lift. So having local businesses say that youth zones, 73% of them say it's made their area a better place to do business because it's a better environment. So that, again, is a key for us, a measure of success.
Lots of success there. I mean, all of you were nodding along in agreement there, Fatima, Joel and Cindy, about that. I'd like to know, Cindy, what do you think the best thing is about a youth zone?
I think the best thing about Youth Grow is that the staff members. I really do think it's the staff members. There's different type of staff members, gender. There's a female, male, different age category staff members. So me, by having the staff members there, I had someone that I can speak to about how I feel mentally, and someone that I can speak to on how I feel physically. Like my coach, I speak to my coach how I feel physically, and my coach can tell when I don't feel my best each days that I come, and they're always there to support you and to help you with anything that you need. Even when you don't even go and speak to them, they always come up to you and ask you, "Oh, it's been nice. How have you been? Or how was your day last night? How was your day today? How was school?" They feel like they're like parents in a way. If you ask me, they're parents, but they're parents from the club for you, and they always have things going on in the club, and they're always trying to get you involved as much as they can. So they don't make you feel like they don't make you feel lonely. They make you feel like you're someone special. Right. What I mean? Someone special is someone that the club care the most about.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah. That's so important. Fatima?
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think youth workers, I think without youth workers, it would have been really hard for me, especially, to be able to even come out and take these opportunities. I guess if it would... Probably for me, I think it'd be a matter of confidence. Not being, because you're not always given these opportunities. So because I've never actually stood up for myself and said, "Oh, I want to do this. I think I can do this." I think I've always let other people do it instead.
So now you're a strong sister.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. You weren't a strong sister before her?
No.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's definitely progress. Joel?
Probably the opportunities. Even if they're just something small, like going on a residential, like we'll do outdoor activities and stuff. Like, you might not know it when you're doing it, but it's like installing confidence and stuff, and like making friends and. Like,
what about belief? What about having someone who believed in you? Because if you leave school at year 8, a lot of people might just write you off.
Yeah.
That you're not ever going to achieve anything in life. You may have heard that 1 or 2 times. People say that to you, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of my people that I'd associate with, sort of like, if I'd say like, "Oh yeah, I left school," they'd just think that I was like just not book smart or anything, just like
a waste man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, but you yourself, did they help you believe in yourself?
Yeah, I suppose I probably didn't notice it at the time, and probably still haven't noticed it, to be honest. But just over time, just become more and more confident, and just take everything in my stride now.
How do you feel when you're skiing?
Oh, it's like wicked. Like I don't know. Like it's pretty mental. Like a year and a half ago nearly. Like I didn't even know how to ski. Never even thought about skiing.
I bet you haven't.
No, like been France twice and going Italy next year and Austria. So it's like.
And you're going to be an instructor.
Yeah. Like,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, if everything goes to plan.
Yeah, that's what you want. Is this the first time in your life that you've really had a goal? Something that you want to achieve?
But, like, definitely, like, when somebody asks, like, oh, what do you want to do? Like, never really had an answer. Like, obviously when you're, like, 8 or something, like, oh, what, football, like, and stuff. But, like, an actual, like, sort of career path, like, I definitely want to be in the ski industry, whether that's, like, instructing, ski tech, like, just anything.
Superb, Jamie, isn't it? Superb. Lots of texts coming in. Keep them doing so. 85058 is the text number. Love the discussion on youth centres. I, as a volunteer at a centre, our work is not celebrated enough in society or government. Well, it's celebrated here on 5 Live, that's for certain. Dear 5 Live, I've never texted you guys before, but I just wanted to say that the youth zones run by OnSide are simply the best thing that can happen to a community. Can we check and make sure this isn't Jamie's text number here that he hasn't texted in himself? They are special places and they enrich the kids' lives. They just need a space for themselves and someone to talk to. Every community needs one. Hi Nihal, in Deal, Kent, we have a fantastic purpose-built youth club. We are very lucky. We have a recording studio, fully equipped kitchen, a social area. We have a drama club, Duke of Edinburgh Award, open sessions and trips. It's right next to the skate park and the leisure centre. It is the only youth club in this area of Kent. They had 2 in Dover that were closed a few years ago due to austerity, says this texter. The youth zones are literally changing lives and building better communities both now and for the future. I've witnessed firsthand the incredible impact youth zone in Chorley has had on so many young people, but we need more people to come forward and support these charities. Please make it your New Year's resolution to fundraise or volunteer for these incredible places, and together we can support the next generation, says Karen. I mean, look, Fatima, how has it changed you? I mean, finding out about young sister, you've talked about confidence and having the belief, but it's given, say, Joel a focus where he wants to be in life. Clearly, Cindy, it's given you a focus with boxing. There's no doubt about that. What about you and a focus, a career focus? Has it changed that?
Yeah, I think it has. I think I always wanted to have a career where I was always around people. But I feel like it's given a bit more to that as well. Because when you go to these youth zones, you almost feel like you have power and you can influence other people and you can make decisions for yourself. And I think it's also so important to believe that you can actually make a difference to the world as well. I think right at the beginning of this year, if you'd asked me, like, if I could ever like talk or go on stage or whatever it is, I probably
go on a national radio station.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I would have ever been able to do so. But I think it's important for me personally that just to know that I can make a difference, or I can do things. I can change other people's perceptions about me, about my religion, about my culture, to have a more positive effect. So I think it's really helped me in that case as well.
Yeah, Jamie, music to your ears.
It's just amazing, isn't it? Like, it just reminds me, it's just how much, when you invest in young people, they reward you so many times over. You know, the way that they respond to support, to those adult role models that we've all mentioned. So
Jamie, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm slightly running out of time, but Ruth has just tweeted me to say it's literally brought tears to my eyes. Is there any way people can help these youth opportunities? So how can people help these youth zones?
So in so many ways. So first of all, we need an army of volunteers with every single youth zone in any youth club around you. So our youth zones are open over 40 hours a week, 20 activities every single night. And we need volunteers who are interested in growing projects and music lessons and language teachers. So if you want to volunteer and you've got a youth zone or youth club near it, come on down. But they also need funding. They really need businesses and philanthropists and local councils all to come together, so we're not reliant on a single funder. Everyone coming together and backing that level of provision in their area. That's so important.
Sounds very important indeed. Jamie Mastrov, who's Director of Operations OnSide Youth Zones. Thank you to you. And of course, Cindy, Joel and Fatima, thank you to you three as well for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Truly inspiring. Looking forward to seeing boxing and skiing, and Fatima just taking over the world generally. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.